So I got a chance to sit down with my brother, as you just saw in the last part. That was really nice. We talked about some free agency things. But I'm going to now continue this, kind of get some more of my thoughts on a few things. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was Kyle Kuzma. Is the fresh, because I followed Kyle Kuzma a lot of his years, and is the fresh start good for him? And I feel like yes, it is, because I feel like, again, if for all Lakers fans, I mean, some people would remember this that aren't Lakers fans, but for all Lakers fans, let's go through the timeline of Kyle Kuzma's career, right? And I just want to quickly touch on a few things. So let's go through the timeline of Kyle Kuzma's career. So let's start at when LeBron first came, his first year. Kyle Kuzma, I believe, was in his first or second year, and he got a chance to play with Braun. But so let's look at this. So we had a bunch of youngsters on that team. There was a few vets that were okay, but I mean, you had Lance Stevens, you had Rajon Rondo. Guys were out of their prime, right? So you had youngsters like Brandon Ingram, Rajon Rondo. No, sorry, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, guys like that. So we had youngsters like that, and LeBron was kind of coming into mentoring. So that year, Kyle Kuzma's role was be a second man, break out, be a second man, be the best you can be. We will reward you with everything you need, you've got. And so he basically was asked to go out, be that guy, be the guy that basically carried the team. And when LeBron got injured, he was basically, the season we kind of knew was down the drain. And so what we tried to do is we tried to get Anthony Davis. But he basically was asked to be a all-around guy. Just play to your strengths. He wasn't asked to play to his weaknesses, which I believe at the time was three-point shooting. So play to your strength, and he played very well. He was asked to be the number one guy on that team when LeBron got injured. This was in, I believe it was 2018, I think. So Kyle Kuzma's role the first year was basically just a dominant role where he could do anything, play to his strengths, get open, and score 30 and he did very good at it. So let's fast forward the next year to when Anthony Davis came. It was 2020, or it was 2019, 2020 season. And Anthony Davis basically, Kyle Kuzma's role went from being, like we just said, a dominant player to being a kind of a guy that said, okay, you're still going to start, because Kyle Kuzma is still in the starting lineup. I think he was the 3. He was a small forward. So Kyle Kuzma's role basically went from being dominant to being the third man, which is still good. And Kyle Kuzma's role changed from being the second or first guy to being the third guy, and basically saying, you are going to be a complementary player to LeBron and AD, the first year of AD, that AD came. So basically, his role changed from dominance to third role, and basically full steam ahead to sit back, but still, and he did well in that. I mean, I think he averaged 13 points a game, played really well in the bubble, 20 points. So he did really, really, really good with that role last year, and he was still asked to play to his strength. I mean, if you look in the bubble, he really played to his strengths. They utilized him a lot, and he would put up 20-point games, and that is why after the championship year in the bubble when we beat the Heat, that is why I believe the Lakers decided to re-sign him and extend his contract to a $13 million deal, because they said, down the road, this guy could be our second man when LeBron retires, right? So his role changed from it just went down every year. And as the Lakers team got better, his role got smaller. So let's fast forward now to this year, timeline 2021. Basically, he was asked to basically what he was asked to do is play a backup role to Anthony Davis. It went from playing the starting lineup, because even when Anthony Davis was there the first year, he was still the 3. But then, if I remember correctly, we got Dennis Schroeder, we started KCP, we got Marc Gasol. So everybody we thought was better. So we had, again, our starting lineup was the first year. It was the first year I believe it was. I guess Kyle Kuzma really didn't start, but like Bradley was like Danny Green sometimes. It was Bradley Beal. No, sorry. What's his name? Avery Bradley or whatever. Avery Bradley, I think. So it was Avery Bradley, Danny Green, and KCP. But some of those, so Kyle Kuzma's role really, the bubble championship year, was a little bit like, obviously it wasn't always a starter, but it was still a role where, hey, come in, and he still was playing the year that the Lakers won the championship, which was 2 years ago. Just a year ago, he still was playing a role where KCP and Danny Green only played 20, so he still was playing 25, 24 minutes a night. So that's still a pretty good role. This year, some argue that our team got better. We got Dennis Schroeder. We let go some of the guys, but we kept KCP, got Marc Gasol, Anthony Davis, LeBron, whatever. So his role basically went from being play 24 minutes tonight to play back up to AD and play about 14 minutes a night, which is a substantial change. And not only the minutes, Scott, but the Lakers, instead of the first 2 years with LeBron, it was basically, let's play you to your strengths so you can score. This last year, with Dennis Schroeder and everybody else, they thought the Lakers had enough scores. They had Dennis Schroeder, so they thought they had brought in enough star power to let Kyle Kuzma do his thing. Instead, Kyle Kuzma really didn't. He wasn't. They basically said, Kyle Kuzma, we have enough shooters, we have enough scorers. Let's focus on your weaknesses for once. And that was not a good choice. They basically focused on defense, which Kyle Kuzma in the past, the first year LeBron came, first year AD came, hadn't been a defensive player. He had been a very offensive player. So they were basically like, let's focus on your weakness this year. And his weakness was shooting the ball and defense. And so they tried to focus on that. But when they focused on that, it was basically taking away his heart, his passion for the game. And then when LeBron and AD came, so LeBron and AD got injured this year, his role just kind of like fluctuated so much. And that's the thing that I kind of feel bad for him, because his role, Kyle Kuzma's role, really fluctuated during this year. At the beginning of the year, it was like at the beginning of this year, of this last season, it was basically like, we have enough scorers, focus on your weaknesses, play defense, shoot threes. That was basically what Kyle Kuzma's year was, the role was at the beginning of this year. And so that was Kyle Kuzma's role this last year, at the beginning of the year. But then halfway through, Anthony Davis, LeBron starts to get injured. They have injury problems, and it's not good. And basically, his role went from being, okay, just sit back and be a three-point shooter and a defender, to we need you all of a sudden to play at your strengths. And he wasn't used to doing that, because for the last 2 years, he really had been not the front-hand man. If you would have asked him the first year that LeBron came and Anthony Davis wasn't there yet in 2018, if you would have asked him then, he would have said sure, because he was used to playing the number 2 guy when it was only LeBron and Brandon Ingram and all the youngsters. But because the past 2 years they've been asking him, the Lakers had been asking him to play so fluctuating positions, and they asked him basically to play the last 2 years 4 different types that he had never played before. I mean, this last year, he had never played a 3-and-D type of guy. He had always been a scorer. So they were asking him basically to play at his weaknesses. And again, if they would have asked him to work on that the whole year, that's fine. But they didn't ask him. Halfway through, they were like, you need to play at your strengths because we have no other star power, because Dennis Schroeder's not getting it done and LeBron and AD are injured. So his role fluctuated the last 2 years, really, and that's why I think Dennis Schroeder, coming to my point, going down a rabbit trail, I was just trying to give you guys the backstory of it all. I think the backstory was, first year, his role didn't really change. The second year, the years when AD came in. So basically, the bottom line, LeBron, when he came in, his role was still fine. But when Anthony Davis came in, since they kind of played the same positions, his role in the last 2 years has fluctuated so much that he didn't really get good at anything because he was asked to do so many things at so many different times. So that's why I think the Lakers made a mistake. They didn't utilize Kyle Kuzma enough. So that's basically why I think they did that. And I think he needed a new start because now you go to the Wizards, and you're gonna be asked to play around Bradley Beal. Who's gonna be that second star? Like they drafted, I guess they had got Spencer Dinwiddie, but he's gonna be asked to play a role player. He's not gonna be asked to play the number 2 guy. He's going to be asked to play the role player position where he comes either off the bench or he starts at power forward. He'll probably start at power forward. So basically, I think the Wizards did a good thing by bringing him in because they're basically bringing in a guy who just needs to play one type of style of basketball. Not a million types of styles like the Lakers have been playing in the last years. One type. And I think the Wizards will do that. I think it was a good fresh start. He needed a fresh start in Washington. I wanted to put that out there, just kind of give you guys a little bit of a background of what, I was thinking, and I hope you like that show that I did with Doty. I will see you guys in the next one. I'll probably get you guys out to this a little bit later, but peace out. I'm excited to what's coming next. I'm going to set up some interviews for next week. It is going to be fun, so I will see you guys later. Peace out, guys. Let's go. Basketball can't come sooner enough. Yeah.